Within the new CAADP strategy for the next 10 years, we have prioritized 6 specific strategic objectives, and these are found under our strategy objective 4. It's talking about issues of women empowerment, access to resources within the member countries that could even provide them access to land, access to finances, which is a very, very critical issue. When the governments are formulating the policies, we are prioritizing that the gender, the women, youth, and even the marginalized should be part and parcel of that process.
The need to develop a results framework that is gender responsive is to be able to transition the one that we currently have from being gender accommodative to actually being responsive. And what that actually translates into is having a results framework that not only speaks to the specific needs of target demographics, which in this case are mostly smallholder women farmers, but also goes to the extent of covering for their new age thematic needs that may have previously not been thought of in previous iterations of CAADP. That is the first 2 iterations that we've had before.
I think it's quite paramount that we recognize the new age threats in our agri-food systems, because our food systems in Africa is not only where we get our food, but it's also a very big employer. So it's quite keeps our livelihoods going, especially for the rural folks and women, who are the majority of the people who are helping produce our food.
Non-state actors and civil society have a major role to play in the CAADP process, because also given one of the principles of CAADP, guiding principles of CAADP, which calls for inclusivity, that automatically gives a role to non-state actors and civil society within the space of things. And we've been partners and part of this whole process, starting from cycle 1, when the participation was very low, and due to our agitation and also demanding for our space, increasingly we are being part of the process, and currently we've played a lot of role, like for example, developing the post-malabo strategy, which is being launched in Kampala this week.
The importance of an inclusive post-malabo process is that we have all the stakeholders that are necessary and that advance agricultural transformation on the continent at the table when the decision or the plan of the Kampala Declaration and its resultant strategy are being developed.
There are 4 core functions that, broadly speaking, all parliamentarians share. We talk about legislation, that's developing and approving laws. We're talking about budgeting, that is national budgets, allocating budgets and authorizing governments to spend those budgets. And then there is also the question of oversight. We are tasked with ensuring that the policies that the government presents to us, that we authorize through budget allocations, are implemented effectively. And of course representation, because we are elected by citizens who have expectations of us, citizens whose voices also we have to represent.
Des femmes et des points de vue pratiques, je pense que quand on regarde un peu, on va se rendre compte que on a permis, par exemple en matière d'aménagement de terres aménagées, d'avoir justement une prise en compte des femmes. En matière d'accès aux semences, on va se rendre compte que les femmes sont prises en compte. En matière d'accès aux engrais, et ainsi de suite. Donc je pense que c'est des dynamiques positives justement qui ont permis d'améliorer justement la contribution des femmes dans le développement du secteur agricole. On peut aussi ajouter que du point de vue institutionnel, il y a justement une cellule genre au niveau du ministère et qui travaille à ce que les questions de genre puissent être véritablement prises en compte.
Our reason is simple. We have a structure and we have leadership. From the grassroots level up to the national and even to the subnational, where we are able to mobilize ourselves and also organize ourselves to be able to actually, engage and interface with government when it comes to issue of policy formulation.
We have done a baseline study on gender development in Africa. It is within that context where we have articulated specific issues under the result framework. How we will monitor all the different various indicators, and those indicators are not only at the high level, or we plan to have specific indicators that will also be unique to specific countries.
At Oxfam, we want to encourage policymakers, and in this case, the African Union and governments, to make sure that at the review process, be it the biennial review process or the formulation of tools such as the scorecard, that these target demographics are included in this process as well.
And of course, raising up all these women leaders that exist, that are doing such great work, organizations like Oxfam and many others who are doing such great work in this respect. It's not going to be easy, it's not going to happen overnight, and I almost want to say that it's only a few more steps and we can get there.